You too. What is good, y'all niggas, bruh? We back with another banger, but this ain't your average banger, nigga. This a real banger, nigga. Nigga, if I take your hoe, me and my niggas gonna train her, nigga. Mm. Dropping straight heat. Just like y'all dropping heat on these analytics. That video's at 12 goddamn K. I might put analytics on the screen. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, click on my page, Thomas the Train video. Now, today we're doing something a little bit different. We're not doing no horror today, gang. Today, we are reacting to what it would actually be like to be Batman. Just something different. I want to react to a whole bunch of stupid shit on this channel. So, that's what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. Now, before we start today's video, be sure to like right now. And shit, comment in the middle of the video your favorite part, least favorite part. If you think you'll, never mind. Let's just get straight into this. Here we go, right here, chat. The science of what it takes to be Batman. 17 minutes. We're doing a long-term video today. Let's get into this. Let's get into this.
What it would take for someone to be Batman, to be as set up, as disciplined, and as skilled as this man, fictional or not. Growing up with speech impediments, early on, I literally threw myself into whatever physical and mental work I could, eventually working out the impediments myself at night, just not wanting to stay as I was at anything. I wanted to be better, to be more at anything I decided to do.
Rip off the jump, you pissing me off, gang. Go ahead and skip forward and tell me what the action is, what we talking about. I don't give a shit about your speech impediment. Respectfully, thank you for the video to react to, but we don't give a shit about what you're talking about.
Bruce Wayne like Batman. This is a man who literally personifies discipline, who not to mention has some pretty insane technology at his disposal, but somehow manages to hit everything, every skill and field of study he decides to learn with a tenacity and a sheer pace that leaves the average human in the frickin' dust. So it's not a surprise that Bruce Wayne's daily schedule is one of the most dense and really active routines that a human being could ever want to have. Bruce is frequently shown, especially in his later years, to wake up in the morning, sometimes pouring himself a cup of coffee, or other times instead choosing to down a vitamin, greens, and creatine blend with all the glucosamine his joints could want.
If you really think about it, my nigga, Batman stays up all night, right, my nigga, and wakes up in the morning. Rinses and repeats. Sometimes you don't go to sleep at night and still gotta be Bruce Wayne in the morning. Imagine you gotta be Batman at night and then get up and start dorking in the club on some shit to protect your image. See what I'm saying?
To get ready for yet another day of working out, board meetings, and managing a team of heroes that tirelessly patrol the city day and night. Quite often, the first thing Bruce does in his day is work out, going through a physical routine that, while both being changed and speculated over the years, sometimes not being anything you would want to actually follow, we could speculate that Batman is someone who would want and would follow a routine
Batman
that
need
didn't
to
just
actually work out, though?
strength that would see him quickly burning out, nor prioritize stamina with him not being able to physically handle strong opponents, but would see him training both, getting powerful, agile, and cardio-wise, making sure that he can last longer than a few minutes before needing to stop. Cause your body can get both. You can train for strength and fast explosive power, being ready to take on whatever obstacles you have in your life, be it a serious sport or just looking and feeling your best, and increase your endurance or how good your heart and lungs are keeping you going at some point during the day. Thanks to groups like Renaissance Periodization, we can say that between strength and endurance, whatever takes priority should come first. If lifting for strength like Bruce tends to favor, with him quoting that Bane was the first opponent he ever faced that was physically superior to himself, Bruce may very well stick to high intensity and low volume lifting.
That's crazy. Like, I'm a super Batman fan, and even I didn't know that Batman was like a lifting ass nigga. That's crazy to me, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shit, you learn something every day. I mean, Batman still can't box me though. He still can't box my ass.
favoring moderate to sometimes heavy sets of weight, changing his amount of reps to match being either in the range of 8 to 12, with the reps getting lower the heavier he gets. The reasoning is that 1. This is the weight he would need to gain and steadily increase his strength to perform many of the heavy lifts and feats he's subjected to, without completely sacrificing his endurance to make it through the rest of the night. Cause if Batman only ever did the heaviest possible weight, lifting close to or at his 1 rep max, likely having longer rest periods in between his sets, this would maximize his muscle hypertrophy or growth while ensuring that he would quickly become roasted after doing anything physical. But blocking out his workouts, lifting for strength earlier in the day, doing his compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, benching, pull-ups, and then doing his cardio, often running and doing flexibility later in the day, this would allow him to hit both. The fact that Bruce often trains with weight as resistance, not just running, stretching, or doing jump rope, is what he needs to be doing to specifically improve his motion economy.
I'm not gonna lie, this part alone is not enough. Not enough, but like it's enough for me to be like, hell no, nigga. Like, all right, I'm gonna go whip some ass. I'm not gonna stay up till 7 a.m. and then wake up at 9 a.m. and then bust out a whole bunch of cardio and a whole bunch of lifting. Go be a billionaire ass nigga with some hoes, naked bitches, and then like goddamn club and shit, shaking titties and ass, and then rinse and repeat the next day. Nigga, this nigga's life is miserable. Mind you, it's by choice. Mind you, it's by choice, which automatically makes this nigga like the craziest nigga in town because he has no motive.
Or in other words, how fast he can move for a given effort. As for the amount of time Bruce spends lifting, he thankfully doesn't need to spend hours lifting like Hercules every single day, given that he does like to do some form of training every single day, which could see his strength workouts typically lasting anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, including warm up and cool down, while his cardio on the other hand could last about 30 minutes, all being speculated based on what actual real-world athletes do to maintain a body that is both strong and has endurance. After lifting first thing in the day, making darn sure to eat after his strength workout like any good athlete, Bruce often goes about running Wayne Enterprises, attending meetings, checking in on the many department heads, and all around making sure the company is making ethical decisions or else, with the occasional public charity event. Like successful CEOs, Bruce doesn't actually lie down and brush away his duties when it comes to his day job, which may come as surprising to some, yet Bruce does take his job as seriously as he takes everything else in his life. Wayne Enterprises is yet another opportunity for him to not only use its expansive influence to make the world a better place, but it's also another opportunity for him to practice the unwavering discipline it takes to be someone with his work capacity. Cause after this, come midnight to whether it be 1 a.m. or 4 a.m., Batman hits the streets, given that in later years he may not go out every single night, instead choosing to spend his time solving cases from the Batcave until he finds he needs to go out. At some point, Bruce then hits the sack, preferably at the same time every night so he can quickly fall asleep, and sleep as efficiently as possible only to wake up and do the whole thing all over again. And sure, it's time to address possibly the biggest elephant in the room, the one thing that certainly gets the most attention from the media and joked about in the movies: money. Bruce Wayne has a lot of money. Somewhere over $9 trillion of the stuff, as we went over in our How Rich is Batman episode. With this money, and not to mention an insane technology department under his wing at Wayne Enterprises, Bruce has been given and afforded some of the most technologically advanced and delectable gadgets the world has ever seen, each costing a massive pretty penny to not only get, but to maintain and then duplicate for the other members of the Bat family. I mean, surely, if one is to be Batman, then having our calculated $39,375,000 mansion with a quoted $50 million Bat computer inside a teched-out cave, complete with a full forensic lab, elevator, power room, reinforced doors, medical facility, personal museum, gun range.
Let me just look something up real quick. Why does Batman need a gun range in his house, first of all? Look this up. $39 million house. How would that look like right now? Let me see. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. These houses are huge, gang. Let's put this in perspective and imagine Batman's house. This, I don't know why the hell this bullshit is here.
Security system, docking bay, hangar for a bat-shaped plane, suit display, and another workout room, being speculated at being $600 million, adding another $100 million or so to the pile for the armored gliding suit and magic converting tank car. Jesus. Being Batman might be a little expensive. And hey, if you believe that gadgets are what make Batman who he is, which if you're a fan of the character or have just seen him in the movies, using tools to combat crime and make a positive difference are a big part of the character without a doubt. One film that I came to really enjoy was called Batman Ninja, which maybe I just enjoyed because I used to teach kids and teenagers how to do cool ninja-esque tricks for a living, so I like the word. The film proposed the question, who is Bruce Wayne? Who is a version of Batman in particular who has come to rely on his tools to always have the advantage over others without those same tools when they're taken away? A problem which quickly happens to Batman as he watches as literally everything he relies on gets smashed to bits, and he then has to come up with other ways to accomplish his goals. He has to use his mind and his discipline to win, to not give up. And when he tact whatever and up to Europe,
I'm trying to immerse in that, but I really don't care.
What's often not showcased is it's during this time that Bruce spent much of his time enrolling in various universities and schools around the world. This is when he spent much of his time poring over books, lectures, notes, and practicing any manner of science and math he could get his hands on. He would often enroll in chemistry, biology, genetics, and other science-related classes for a semester or two. Whereas is a best practice for studying anything, Bruce would likely sit down in silence, not needing any additional stimulation or distractions.
That's how I be. You know, niggas who don't know me, bro. I mean, niggas who know me, like, I be in my room in the dark on some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't speak to nobody. Bro. As we sitting in the dark, just like this, staring at the wall, no music, thinking about how I'm gonna get this money by tomorrow, man. So, really, in a way, you can just call me Bruce Wayne. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said all that.
As he practiced whatever was being taught over and over again more times than he could count, moving his way through basic chemist and forensic practices to eventually more and more difficult ones. Then he would drop out, repeating the same process with whatever math and engineering courses he decided to take. Because while the average student, based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, found that college students spend an average of 3.5 hours per day on educational activities, which includes attending classes and studying, Bruce was dead set to blow that statistic out of the water. It's equally likely that Bruce, when studying, also practiced.
You know what I just thought about? I'm sorry, pausing again. I just thought about if Batman has to purchase all this stuff to like buy cars and shit, right? Well, they don't, like, the companies don't think that is weird that he's buying like all this dark shit, this Batmobile, yada yada yada. They don't think it's kind of weird that he's buying that. Like, they don't ever put two and two together. Or am I tweaking?
Failed at a much faster pace than the average person. Instead of doing a math problem a few times, someone at his level of learning skill would more so almost robotically stay dead focused and do the math equation or the darn chemistry problem I was given for creating soap hundreds of times, doing in a day what would literally take the average student weeks to do in terms of sheer reps.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Don't start this shit with me, gang. Shut up.
Because rather than relying off of whether or not he feels motivated to do something or not, Bruce, like many of us can do, has a set standard for what he needs to do, for what is required of him to learn, to go out and attempt, even if he ultimately fails to accomplish whatever mission he decides is important. And the glorious thing about discipline over motivation is, even if you do come up short, as most of us often do, the amount of skills, of experience, and expertise that you can use down the line grows. Along with your brain's capacity to work, the pace you can work at, the amount of stress it takes for you to even feel a stress response, and ultimately how valuable you are becoming to others. This is what eventually makes Batman the Batman. He never quits, and the ferocity he works.
Alright, so guessing I'm getting this is this nigga dick riding? My god damn.
Bruce, how do you get the aspect of Batman that made him Batman? Well, this all depends on your brain. And I don't mean the intelligence that you were born with. You see, your brain is made up of two types of matter, being white matter, or the nerve fibers that connect the different regions of your brain together that allow them to speak to one another and function as a whole, and the gray matter, that are the nerve cell bodies themselves that process information, learning, memory, and higher cognitive functions. If your brain was a city, white matter is the roads and highways, and gray matter is the actual buildings. The more buildings or gray matter someone has, the more intelligent they are thought to be. And the more white matter they have, the better different regions of the brain can coordinate the learning of new information, so Bruce can both mentally understand through touch, sight, and physically coordinate a new skill. The true test for any Batman or trying to be your best self in training has to pass, which would allow you to handle more information and learn it faster. To grow your white matter to match someone as beefy as Batman, this actually involves you learning new skills that challenge different areas of your brain at once. For Bruce, he accomplished this through activities like learning a new language, being fluent at any time in 6 or more, because learning a language involves the use of auditory regions, visual, and motor regions of the brain at once, as you both hear and try to make new movements and sounds with your tongue and mouth. The same also goes for trying to learn a new instrument, or even something as simple as a cartwheel or sick dance move, as your brain has to visually and physically work together.
This is crazy. I keep pausing. You know, he explained all the shit you have to do, but I definitely speak like 5 languages very fluently. I could definitely do flips, cartwheels, back flips, front flips, gainers, the spinning flip, the hybrid flips. You know, I could do all this shit. I'm explaining. This is why I'm qualified. I just don't have the money. I'm very qualified for this though, gang. I'm very qualified.
To learn that new movement. For your thinking gray matter, on the other hand, this all comes down to staying on mentally stimulating tasks. Things that force you to sit down and focus for long periods on end, solving complex problems, studying new information, reading through challenging material, strategy games, anything that causes your brain to mentally stress. And the longer you can stay on task, despite how stressed your brain becomes, the more rewarded you will be. With a brain that can stand doing harder and harder things before it needs to stop and recover, you may find that not only can you do harder things longer, but the pace at which you can work can also increase dramatically, giving you one heck of a stronger and more enduring brain advantage the more you go. I mean, this is what is shown to set Bruce apart from most people he meets. They aren't willing to study to improve their brains to the point that Batman is, instead choosing to frequently party, live the high life, or do other things they enjoy, which is fine. Batman, on the other hand, showcases someone who has trained his brain to be able to handle sitting at the back computer and pacing around the Batcave for hours on end to solve a problem, doing it for such a long time that the Bat-Kids have to feign a crisis just to get him to come off. And maybe this really presents a problem. The problem being that can we actually expect ourselves to live up to this perfect standard? To use whatever time we do spend studying or working to go full out every day like Batman. This may very well be the biggest problem we encounter, cause really the sheer amount of failures I know I've had in my life, yet alone doing the YouTube thing, makes being as amazing as humans like Bruce Wayne or anyone accomplished seem doubt.
I mean, we can stop it there. We go right here.
Profession, cause as skilled as Bruce is, he doesn't.
Yeah, he just dick riding for the rest of the video. Alright, so we're gonna stop it there. Let me go ahead and switch off. I'm not gonna lie, little chat. After watching this, like, do y'all think I have what it takes? Let me know in the comments. I know for a fact I do, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know what I'm saying? Just look. See them triceps, nigga? Biceps. I have a sleeper build. I don't know this shit, chat, but I have a very crazy sleeper build. I will reveal it 1,000. But look, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you've made it this far, especially, you should be subscribed if you made it this far, gang. But look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. It should be coming real soon. Video is going to slow down just a little bit. I'm lying like a bitch. I see y'all soon.